applied for so many jobs on so many sites, but still have not gotten one call from the employer. I've not gotten any request for job interview. What is happening? What could be going wrong? Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new today here on this channel, I'm Agbofiona, registered nurse, originally from Cameroon, working and living in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. On this channel, we make content about lifestyle in Dubai, living in Dubai, getting licenses in Dubai, getting nursing licenses in Dubai, and also about job interview tips and how to get jobs, as we are focused on today's video. What could be the reason why you've sent tons of applications but then you've not had any call from any employer? What happened? What did you do wrong? What didn't you do right? What can you correct? How can you amend this? If this is of interest to you, please kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on the notification bell. For our returning subscribers, we are super duper grateful. Thank you for always being there. And please make sure you like our video, give our video a thumbs up so that YouTube can recommend this video to others. Without wasting so much time, what could be the reasons why you're not getting calls back from employers? The first question I want to ask you, is your research focused? Is your job search focused? What are you looking for? You can't be a jack of all trades and master of none. You must have specific skills that you're looking for. And when you have these specific skills, you need to tailor your job search to these specific skills. When you go to a job site, what do you put in as a keyword? It's what you put in that you get as your output. So make sure you get a list of skills that you have and that you're hoping to get jobs in. This is what you should put in as keywords in the job search button. Once you put in these keywords, you will get jobs with respect to these keywords you've put in, and then you can be able to send in your applications. If your job search is not focused, you'll get haphazard offers. And also you should have specific resumes for these specific skills you have mentioned. So that brings us to number 2. What kind of resume do you have? Is it a one size fits all resume? No. You can't be applying for the job of a bartender and your resume carries customer service, or your resume carries nursing assistant, or your resume carries dishwasher. It doesn't make sense. So make sure you tailor your resume to the specific skills you're applying for. Do not use a one resume for all your job applications. No, you won't get it. Make sure you have different resumes for different skills with different resume titles. If you have the title as a nurse, registered nurse, maternity ward, your resume should be tailored to that title. If it's registered nurse ICU, it should be tailored to that. If it's registered nurse medical surgical unit, that's how it should be. If your resume is that of a customer service agent, it should be that way. If it's for administrative assistant, it should be that way. It's true that some of these skills get across each other, but make sure your resume title should be the same with the job title that is required in the job offer, in the job description. When it tallies, at least it makes sense. It gives the employer the urge to want to go through your resume to see what you have written in it. Still on the resume issue, how is the structure of your resume? Is it readable? Do you have 2 different font sizes on your resume? Or are the words, are the fonts too small? They are not legible enough. Make sure your resume is very clear, is very legible, and the format is easy to read. Make sure your skills, your job experiences, make sure the different tasks you completed under your job experience are separated by bullets. Make sure they are separated by bullet points. Bullet points are easy to read. It's easy to just flip through very quickly. Don't leave it in long, thick, archaic paragraphs. When it's that way, no hiring manager will spend hours going through it. They'll just keep it aside and take the next that appears readable. So make sure your resume structure and content are appetizing to read. Make sure it's easy to read and very easy to determine what you are offering them, because that's the only tool that sells you out at a job application, your resume. You're not there in person to defend yourself as in an interview. So your resume must sell you out very well before the employer will want to hear what you have to tell them in an interview. So if you disqualify yourself by sending out a one size fits all resume, or a resume whose title doesn't tally with what the employer is looking for, sorry, they won't call you back. One tip I always use and one tip I always advise is the words that you put in your resume. Go to the job offer, check the job description. When you see that the job description fits you, use some of those words. Don't copy word verbatim, copy very smartly. Use some of those words in the job description in your resume. When the employer is going through your resume and they find skilled at IV cannulation, they find skilled at communicating effectively with angry persons, which is mentioned in their job description, obviously they'll want to hear more from you. So try these hacks, try these tips in your resume so that you can be able to get more calls and you have so many interviews to attend and ace them with a snap of your fingers. So you should make sure your CV, tailor your CV to the job description that the employer is asking for. The third thing you may not be getting a call back from your job applications is probably because you overlooked the job specificities. Whenever there's a job offer, when you go through the job offer and you realize you are good for it, make sure you check the eligibility criteria. Here in the UAE, most employers will say Asians only, Nepalese only, Indians only. If you are not an Asian, or you're not a Nepali, or you're not in one of these classes that have been mentioned, do not waste your time, because here in the UAE, the CVs always carry the photo of the applicant. So once they see, they can identify who you are and where you're from, as well as your name as well. So if you go through the job offer and you're a perfect fit for the role, but then the eligibility criteria disqualifies you, do not waste your time on that. There are tons of other job offers that you would find which you'll be a good fit for, and you will not be disqualified by the specificities. So if they say they want only female and you're male, do not waste your time to send your application in. If they want only male and you're female, do not waste your time. If they want this particular race of persons, this particular group of persons, and you do not have it, forget about it. If they say they want a licensed nurse and you're not licensed, don't waste your time to send in applications. Look for jobs for not licensed nurses so that you will be able to stand a chance of backing a job interview. The fourth reason why you might not be getting calls from employers is because you're only focusing on searching jobs on job sites. Do not get me wrong, job sites like Indeed, Glassdoor, Golf Talent are awesome. They are fantastic. They are authentic. They are good. But then don't rely on job sites alone. In addition to these job sites, add company sites to it. If you're interested in company ABCD, you can also go to the company website, check their openings, and apply directly. There, you're sure that your application is going directly to the hiring manager's desk. At least you're sure that you're sending your application to that. Moreover, you can also do networking. Network on social media, network on LinkedIn, network on Facebook, network on Twitter, network on different sites. So add to these job sites, networking, and company sites applications as well. Some company sites will require you to upload your resume, and if there is any vacancy, they'll contact you directly. Still, some other company sites, once you upload your resume and you turn on the notification bell, whenever they have any job openings that fit the description on your resume, you will be notified. So doing it this way gives you a broader perspective of being called up for a job application than relying on job sites alone. Are you relying on job sites alone? Try to add working with company sites also and networking to it. Another thing with company sites is that you should need to do a lot of research on your own. If you have this particular company you are dreaming to work with, follow them on LinkedIn, follow them on Facebook, follow them on different social media pages, and get familiar with what they offer, with their values and all. So that once you put in your application, once you submit your application, they'll understand that at least is someone who has had information about them. So that when you're called up for an interview, it will be very easy to ace the interview because you've done lots of research about this particular company and you'll land your dream job through that means. The fifth reason could be probably because you are overqualified. Yes, you heard me right. Maybe you are overqualified. It's possible to be overqualified for sure. Because if the employer has the impression that you have perfect, awesome skills, awesome soft skills, awesome hard skills, and great achievements over the years, but what they are willing or what they are able to offer you is going to be maybe minor, is going to be minimal compared to the package you're bringing in. They might prefer not to call you, they might prefer to call someone with less years of experience and also less amount of skills they have acquired. This is because they are scared that if they employ you over some after a few months, you might feel underpaid or you might feel underemployed, and you might decide to leave the job and jump at a better opportunity that presents itself. So employers do not want workers that they will not be able to rely on for a specific period of time. So if you're overqualified, they might not call you for the interview. Sorry, you have to try next door. Another reason why you may not be called up for the job offer could be because you are underqualified. If they want a person with a particular set of skills, particular set of achievements, a particular number of years of experience, and you do not meet up to that standard, you will not be called up for the job. So whenever you send in an application, your mind should be open. And that's why you should read the job specificities very well. If they want this, and you check all those boxes or most of the boxes, yes, you send your application, you will be sure that at least you have a higher chance of getting the call. But if you check very few of the boxes only, you might not be called up because the employer might feel you're not qualified enough and they will not call you for the job offer. Another strange reason why you might not be called up for the job offer could be because maybe you're not on LinkedIn, or either you're on LinkedIn but you're not using the platform well, or you're not updating your profile regularly. There are some employers that are very specific. When you're called up for a job interview, when they find that your resume is outstanding, they go on your LinkedIn profile. That's why this LinkedIn information is very important to input in your CV. So they go to your LinkedIn profile, they check, they look for you on LinkedIn, and maybe they can't find you, and they're like, what kind of person is this in the 21st century where networking is the key, networking is the goal, but they are not found on LinkedIn? They might find it funny and not proceed to call you for the interview. Or probably they check your profile on LinkedIn and the last time you updated your profile was like 5 years ago, and they are like, what the heck, what is this? So you can't tell exactly what the issue is, what the employer wants. So it's good to be safe always. Make sure you have a LinkedIn profile, make sure you have your resume on the LinkedIn, and you update your LinkedIn profile. Make sure you update your LinkedIn profile regularly. It's very important to update it regularly. I had an interview once, one of my jobs in Cameroon. When I applied for a job interview, I went for the job interview, and during the interview I got so many questions, everything was going on well, and the employer was quite impressed that I had done a lot of research about their company and I knew each of them by name. So when they started talking about me, my accomplishments and my profiles, I was shocked I was like, hey, how did you get to know all of that? And what the employer told me was, just as you made your findings about our company, we equally made our findings about you on your social media platforms. And I nodded. I said, okay, that is interesting. So you see, it's very, very important to make sure your social media platform, especially LinkedIn, is up to date because this is a professional site. Another reason you might not be getting a call back after a job application could be because you're not consistent enough in your job search. Job search is a full time job, I would say. Yes. And you should not stop until you've landed that job you've been waiting for. You can take a job just for the time being, but still continue the search for a better one. So you must be consistent. Consistency is the key. Consistent meaning that if you go to that company, which is your dream company, you send in an application and you do not hear from them, you can even send an email to the hiring manager, let them know your interest, voice out your interest again, and highlight your skills to them so that they understand how qualified you are to land a job in their company. If you do not get a response, make sure whenever there are openings, you send in your application. Send in your applications all the time. So be consistent in this job search process. Some people decide to give up when they've sent in tons of applications and they've not gotten any results. Let me ask you, if you give up, how are you going to land that dream job of yours? If you give up, how are you going to give your testimony that you applied for over 1,000 jobs and on 1,001 job you got a call? If you give up, how are you going to stand a chance of even getting the job in the first place? So it's not all about doing it and stopping. It's all about doing it until the last minute. We say in French, you do it jusqu'à la gare. You make sure you send in your applications until you land that job you've been looking for. That has helped me a lot. And I'm giving this tip out for you to also apply this. Don't give up. Just the fact that they are not calling you back means there's something that is still lacking, or probably the time has not yet come. And if you give up, you're going to miss that. So keep on searching. And if you are at a job which is not very good, you're working in a toxic work environment or a toxic workspace, look for job, search, keep searching for better ones to leave. Don't be contented and say, I don't want to start this job search process all over. It gets boring, but then you should make your mind, set your mind to do it and make sure you do it until you get what you have been looking for. Another reason why you might not be getting a call back after your job applications could be because you didn't maybe get the job interview right. If you got your application to your employer's desk, they found you fit and they called you for an interview and you did not prepare enough for your interview, you don't get the job at the end of the day. Probably the problem was with your interview skills. So make sure whenever you're going for interviews, prepare very well. I did a video about interview skills that will help you a lot. I'll leave the link below in the description. Make sure you go through these interview skills, apply them, be confident, be bold, but don't sound desperate during your job interviews. Make sure you research the company very well, present your skills very well, and make them understand that you are the right candidate for the job. There, you'll be able to land the job. Another reason why you might not be getting a call back is because you're not following up after the interview. After your job interview, it's important that after a few days, like 2 to 3 days, you follow up on the interview. You can follow up with messages like a gratitude message, like thank you for your time, thank you for interviewing me. You let them know that you appreciated the time they spent to interview you. You can also reiterate your skills with respect to the position you applied for. Let them know that you really stand out. You can equally mention some of the things they outlined during the interview. For instance, they talked about some pertinent issues about their company. You can mention some of these things also during the follow-up email, in your follow-up email. This will make them understand that you have good listening skills. You were listening during the interview and you have the interest of the company at heart. Another thing you can mention in your follow-up message could be some possible solutions to some of the problems they mentioned. That's why I always say it's good to ask questions during interviews. So one of the pertinent questions you can always ask during interviews is the kind of problems that they face in the domain you are applying for. Then you can brainstorm on some of the solutions, and you can bring up some of these solutions during your follow-up, during the follow-up. Believe you me, if the employer didn't plan to call you back after these follow-up messages, they will find out that you are really the peculiar candidate they have been looking for, and they'll call you up to get you the job at your feet. So these are some of the reasons why you might not be getting a call after submitting your job application or after completing a job interview. The last reason I would like to mention is this technology growth. Some people are not versed with online interviews. Some people are not versed with Zoom, Skype, Teams, FaceTimes, and all these applications. So please make sure if you've landed an interview and it's supposed to be online, make sure you prepare yourself very well. First of all, prepare for the interview, fine. Also, prepare yourself on how to navigate these tools, these technological tools is very important. Some employers will not consider the fact that you are not versed with these things. They'll disqualify you right away. So make sure if the employer mentions to you that the interview will be online, find out the tool they are going to use for the interview. Download this tool, try to use it. Do an interview, try to open these tools and talk with a friend, a spouse, a colleague, or whatever. Try to open this tool and try to do an interview with another person using this tool. For instance, if it's Teams, get the Team app, open it, set it up, tell another person, please, I'll create a link here on Teams so that we can communicate. I'll see how well I can navigate this tool, and also how well I can manage my volume, I can manage the position of my camera and everything. Doing this first of all will allay anxiety. It will help you to, it will build you some confidence on how to be able to present yourself during this interview. And also it will help you to pass a good message across to your prospective employer that you are familiar with these tools. The world is fast evolving in technology nowadays. So when employers come across people who are not very versed with technology, they might not consider you for the job because everything is all about technology nowadays. So make sure you prepare yourself very well on how to navigate these tools so that you will not be disqualified just because you do not know how to use a simple technological tool. Meanwhile, you stand out, you have good skills and great achievement. To crown all of these job application tips, make sure whenever you prepare application and you're sending it out, plead the blood of Jesus upon your applications. Pray upon your applications. Then you send it out. Prayer is a master key, and God will be able to take charge of your application process and help you to land the job. So please always remember these tips. Make sure whenever you're sending your applications, make sure you are on the safe side. Then you leave the rest in the hands of God and watch Him do wonders. So always make sure your job search is focused. Make sure your CV is good in content and in structure. Make sure you're using job sites plus company sites plus good networking on social media. Make sure you're not overqualified for the job. Make sure you're not underqualified for the job. Ensure that you read the job specificities very well and you fit into the eligibility criteria. Make sure that you're well prepared when you're called up for an interview. Endeavor that your technological skills with respect to online interviews is top notch. And make sure you're following up after your visa interview. Ensure that your LinkedIn profile is up to date, and To crown it all, make prayers your bedmate. Make sure you pray over your job applications, pray before your interviews, and pray after your interviews. Good luck and stay blessed.
Supposed to be, might be as elusive as it's close to me. She's been